Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Amrutanubhava, chapter 7, movie number 282.
What page? 721.
720.
Oh, 721.
A doubt is raised in the next OV about the status of ignorance. ऐसे जग ज्ञान जे आहे ते अज्ञान म्हणे मी तिये येणे अनुमाने हो पाहे आथी ऐसे. If the ignorance says that I am behind this plurality, then one can conclude that the ignorance exists. If ignorance says I am behind the reality, behind the multiplicity of the world, behind the universe, behind the creation, you know why that statement comes? Why ignorance is behind the creation? Why ignorance is behind the plurality? You know why this statement has been made? That I am asking.
Creation is ignorance.
Why?
There is no creation.
No, but why is Jnaneshwar Maharaj making this statement? That plurality of the world has come from ignorance, meaning ignorance is the base, and from that the plurality has come out. In Vivek Chudamani it is told in different Vedanta, when we are talking in logic way, that this is how it is told. Step by step it is explained that first came ignorance, then came desires, then came actions. Avidya kama karma. So why do we say that? And that Jnaneshwar Maharaj that concept he's destroying. I'll give you another reason, another way to look at it. We say, where is the whole multiplicity? In the waking experience or in the dream experience? What is deep sleep experience? A state of utter ignorance. Isn't it? Utter ignorance. It is the unmanifest. It is from the unmanifest, the manifest comes out, isn't it? Where does the whole world that we know in the waking plane or the dream plane, where does it go and rest? It goes in the potentiality of the divine. So why are we first coming to this conclusion that the whole world has come from ignorance? And ignorance is what? Definition of ignorance? Self-forgetfulness brings about the ignorance, isn't it? When we have moved away from our original self, from the pure consciousness, the expression of ignorance happens. Nobody knows what ignorance is. Nobody has seen what ignorance is. But when your attention is on the expression of ignorance, then you come to know, oh, the source must be the ignorance. Nobody, when you are ignorant, you are ignorant. When you gain the knowledge, then you say, oh, I was ignorant before, now I know. So, ignorance or Maya or whatever way you want to put it, you cannot know it. You come to know. Ignorance is something, some title you have given to that source because Where has all this multiplicity come from? You want to give a cause to everything. Where has this whole effect of multiplicity come from? Where is it coming from? So we give it, appropriate it to ignorance. If it has come from, some people say it is from the self, because eventually, as first, you see what is the systematic explanation given? First, you accept it from the ignorance, quieten your mind, make your mind devoid of the multiplicity, make it calm, and eventually, when it is calm, you come to realize the presence or the pure consciousness in that calm mind, and from that, once you come to abide and bypass the calm mind or the emptiness of the mind, once you come to abide and accept yourself as the self and be the self, from that standpoint, when you look out, then you will see the whole world of manifestation and unmanifestation as nothing but the divine. So those who are abiding in the self, they say the whole world is divine. Those who are in the relative and taking it to be the relative, they say ignorance, the world is a result of cause and effect. And what is the cause? Ignorance is the cause. Self-forgetfulness is the cause. See? So which one is correct? Which one is the so this we are thinking ahead of what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is showing, but this doubt is answered in the next OV. He says, now hope his conclusion is similar as ours. Tava ajnana trishuddhi nahi he zage cheat he vile thai ze dharma dharmitva kahi jnana jnana ase. The ignorance can never be established by anyone. How can there be a relationship between knowledge and ignorance? As one is substance, is a substance, dharman, dharmi, and the other is an attribute, dharma. So he says, no, this can never be. This has to be most forcefully denied again and again, or else we will have to say that ignorance is dharmi and the knowledge is dharma. That is, the former will be the reality and the latter will be the attribute. Meaning what? Ignorance will become the knower and the knowledge will become the known. If ignorance is source of everything, then ignorance becomes the the source, and the knowledge that I am, it will become the known. It will be a product of ignorance. But that is not true. That is not our experience also. Like sweetness is dharma, the sugar is its dharmi, or fire is the dharmi, and the heat is dharma. The object and essence of the object and the essence of the object, such a relationship is impossible. They cannot be different. There is no cause and effect between the fire and the heat. There is no, we use these words. Oh, the fire is hot. Why fire? But see the statement there. Fire has not become the cause of the heat. The nature of the fire is heat only, isn't it? This is what he's trying to bring our attention to. There is no distance travelled in order for a result to be created. Water is wet. It's not that the water became slowly it became wet. No, nature of water is wetness. Sugar's nature is sweetness. This is illustrated by examples in the next three OVs. Kazala moti viye rakhodiya deepa jiye tari jnana dharma hoya ashanacha agyanacha, not ashana. can the pearl create water? Or B, can the soot yield pearl? Can the lamp be lighted by ash? If this is possible, then the knowledge can be the attribute of ignorance. If ignorance could be the dharmi, the substance, and knowledge its dharma, the attribute. See, what is substance? Out of which something is made, isn't it? Mud is the substance, pot is the creation, isn't it? This is what he is saying. Water is the substance, wave is the attribute or creation. So are they separate? Is the wave and water and wave separate? No. Is the gold and ornament separate? No. So we are saying gold is the substance, ornament is the attribute because it has got name and form, isn't it? And in this vein of thinking, we say ignorance is the cause and the world is the effect. Many places it has come. But it begins that way and then it cancels it. In Vedanta we begin that way but we cancel it. As I explained to you before. So he says that is not possible. From what is ignorance? Emptiness, nothingness. How can, and ignorance means not knowing, isn't it? How can from not knowing, knowing come out? How can from not knowing, knowing come out? It is not possible. Don't go into that angle of thinking. If ignorance could be the dharmi, substance, and knowledge, its dharma, attribute, then the pearl, examples given where the pearl should yield water or the soot should yield pearls, or C, the ashes should be able to light the lamp. If I know I am ignorant, that means I have knowledge. See, even the statement that I am ignorant cannot be possible without the knowledge. You are knowing that you are ignorant, isn't it? Then only that statement can come out. So what is more important, ignorance or the knowledge that you are ignorant? See, so it says, if I know I am ignorant, that means I have knowledge. So it seems to be a contradiction in terms when the ignorant man says, I know I am ignorant, because he has already discarded the conditioning of ignorance and he is talking from the platform of pure consciousness, the absolute being. But instead of dropping this ignorance once and for all, he takes a retrograde step and gets conditioned by ignorance again. Thus, this game of one step forward and two steps backward is going on perpetually. How does it express? When we come to a satsang, we become very clear about who we are. Many times it happens, isn't it? I've got no doubt about it. But the moment satsang finishes, 100 questions come into the mind. Again, why? I missed that. See, what we were talking about was not a concept, it was not an idea. Why you feel at peace, why you feel contented, why you feel at one with yourself, is because in that moment of satsang, you vanished. Only being remained. But then out of old habit, the mind clicks in again. And you start considering yourself to be the mind. And this continuous game of in out goes on and you get confused. Which one am I? Am I the body or am I the conscious? Am I the conscious or am I the body? Why? But when you had, there are so many times all of you have said, yeah, there's no doubt, no, absolutely clear. Then where do the questions come again from? Default processes. Continuing the examples, चंद्रम्या निघती ज्वाळा आकाश आते शिळा तरी अज्ञान उजळा ज्ञानाते वमी. The moon can produce flames, the space can yield boulder, then ignorance can produce knowledge. He's speaking in the passive language. If the moon can start emitting scorching fire, because the nature of the moon is coolness, how can it ever give heat? But if he could give the heat, or if space starts yielding stones, then it is possible that the radiant knowledge, the creation, can come out of dark ignorance. See, another example that we take, and that is why we get caught up in this idea that out of ignorance the whole world has come when we study Vedanta, but that is not a complete statement. It's not a correct statement. We say the total space is existing in, or total universe is existing in the space. Space is emptiness, isn't it? That total space is existing in the mental space. Mental space is also emptiness. But we say something else after that. What do we say? The mental space is existing in the conscious space, isn't it? So where is the question of ignorance then? When our attention is only on the emptiness, then this statement that it came from ignorance. Creation, maintenance and destruction. Where is it happening? In the space, isn't it? Creation of the waking world, maintenance of the waking world, destruction of the waking world. Creation of the dream world, maintenance of the dream world and destruction of the dream world. Where is it happening? In the empty mind, in the space of the mind. Where did it get created from? From deep sleep. What was deep sleep? Empty mind. And such type of conclusions keep us in the loop of confusion. No, all this was possible only because consciousness is there. A dead man does not have this experience. So, what is important? That ignorance is not important. The self, the pure consciousness, the knowledge is important. That is the source. Self is the source. Or still another example. क्षीराब्धि कालकूट हे ये की परिचे विकट परी कालकूटी चोखट सुधा कैची. Anyway, it is difficult to accept that the lethal poison Kalakut came out of the Milky Ocean. However, one can expect that the nectar came out of the deadly poison. However, can one ever expect that the nectar came out of the deadly poison? This is one of the stories in the Puranas where when the churning of the ocean takes place, the first thing when the churning happens, what comes out is the poison. When first time your body starts exercising, the first thing that comes out is pain. We all know that. The first thing that comes out when you sit in meditation is the unwanted thought keep coming to the front, isn't it? All the unwanted thoughts. This is the poison. So he says.
This story itself is for meditation only now.
Which one?
The Meru, all that Meru mountain is the ego.
Yes.
And that
It is shown because nothing that is told in the mythological stories is not being experienced by you right now. So that churning is eternally going on. And that churning is possible by how is it happening? The Meru mountain is there. the snake is tied around the, the mountain. The gods and the demons, they are on the both sides. One is holding the face, the demons are holding the face, and the gods are holding the tail, and they are pulling, and the mountain starts, whirling around, and it starts churning the ocean. And as it is churning, the ocean starts throwing things out, because ocean is a storehouse of so much treasure. But before you get the treasure, it has to get purified of all the muck. So the first thing that comes out of that churning is the poison. So now here it is taken. If you take this as a meditation, then the ocean is the mind. Gods are the good thoughts, demons are the bad thoughts, means the worldly thoughts. Gods are those that I have confidence, I have self-respect, I have truthfulness, all the good qualities, all those thoughts. The snake is the rope. And what is that rope? That is the, no, not ego. Oh, it is the ego. Snake is the ego, and the mountain is the self, the substratum. Is that correct? And taking this, what is the ego doing? Continuously thinking about the self. How is it thinking about the self? With the good thought, naturally, to think. Always you cannot have the good thoughts. Sometimes good thoughts are there, sometimes bad thoughts are there. So this continuous churning is taking place in the mind. Right now our focus is on the text, but sometimes the mind is going there, sometimes the mind is going to sleep, sometimes the mind is not in focus, and these things happen. This is the churning. And while this is going on, first the poison will come out. Try whenever you sit in meditation. This is what happens. So, and then after that, so many things come out, so many siddhis as well as powerful things. Even the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, she also comes out. The immortal nectar comes out of the ocean. Where is that immortality? That immortality is only an idea in your mind. So, but for that you have to purify yourself. And that purification cannot happen by thinking about the world. The purification can happen only when we are contemplating on our own essential nature or the Lord. That is the only way. Only He has the capacity to purify the mind completely. Because the vision of the ocean is that all waves are me only. He doesn't see the wave as separate to himself. Then when we are contemplating on the self, what is the view of the self towards body, breath, mind, intellect and the whole world thereof? That everything is I only. And this is its disposition without having any thought. Without having any thought. So who wants immortality? We want immortality as the body. We don't want to be vanished from the body must vanish and I must remain. That is not anyone's concept. Everyone wants to be eternally immortal, continuing to experience this world. And for those people, that immortal nectar was created. And those who partook of that nectar, they became the various demigods till the end of this creation, cycle of this creation. Anyway, we are going in a different direction. So here, but if it is said that the Kalakut poison was again churned and out of that came nectar, Can one believe it? Knowledge coming out of ignorance is as impossible. Even ignorance coming out of knowledge is impossible. Now, so first, knowledge coming out of ignorance is impossible, because how can ignorance be the cause, nothingness be the cause, not knowing be the cause of knowing? Huh? How can not knowing be the cause of knowing? See how we are deluding ourselves by our own language. Now he is saying even not knowing has not come out of knowing. Because if you are knowing, then there is no question of not knowing. He is playing with your mind. And why? And it is logic. If you think carefully, I know, then you cannot not know anything.
I always thought that to be able to recognize, know something or whatever, it's always inside you anyway, because it knows when as soon as it knows, it knows.
Correct.
What sounds
Correct. So here he says,
must be this.
Na jnani ajnana zale te hota si ajnana gele pudati jnana ekale ajnana nahi. In the same way, ignorance cannot come out of knowledge, because as soon as it is born, it vanishes. Then knowledge alone remains and not ignorance. If one says that ignorance has come out of knowledge, that also cannot happen, because the moment ignorance is born, it cannot stand before the brightness of knowledge, just as darkness cannot stand before sunlight, and therefore only pure knowledge will remain, where there is no trace of ignorance versus knowledge. See, our understanding of knowledge is what? Thought knowledge. Which knowledge is Jnaneshwar Maharaj talking about? The knowledge of the self. And that is a thought-free knowledge. That is your essential nature. Sun doesn't call himself, I am a source of light. He is just he. He doesn't say that I am having heat and light. Cannot. Because he is heat and light. He does not see the heat and light as an objective experience, isn't it?
And we still see happiness as an objective experience.
The truth is, it is our nature.
It's our nature.
Love is our nature. We don't have to cultivate love. We don't have to cultivate happiness. We don't have to, masters have said, the most miserable search is the search for happiness, pursuit of happiness, isn't it? This is why they say. And we say, we make that into a title and we have a seminar. We are ready to teach others. But they are talking about you. You are of the nature of happiness. Thus, whichever way one argues, it is impossible to conclude that there is something called ignorance, and that ignorance is the cause of the world and all its miseries. We give undue importance to ignorance, and by blowing it out of all proportions, fall prey to our own self-created hallucinations. We have hypnotized ourselves into believing that this world is real. We have hypnotized ourselves. And why do we take the world to be real? Because we have hypnotized ourselves, we are the body. Body meaning body, mind, intellect. We have taken so seriously that I am only the waker, not the dreamer. We have taken these three roles of waking, dreaming and deep sleep very seriously, because every day they are attacking us. Every day they are expressing through us, isn't it? And we have got so identified with this body that we are unable to see the actual picture. Just like this picture is there, we are seeing the picture, but we are not able to see the screen. When we watch the TV, our attention is on all the names and forms, but it is not, we are not available to the screen on which the whole projection is taking place. Exactly the same way. Our attention is on all the thoughts and waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, multiplicity, thoughts, emotions, but it is not available to the substratum on which all this is possible, this phenomena is possible. After studying the 7th chapter of Amrutanubhava, one's attention should be fixed only on the Paramatma Tattva, with firm knowledge that from me, the pure consciousness alone, the world and its problems are born. In me alone are these contained, and in me alone these revert. For if you can't understand in this, oh, who is this me? Oh, if you take yourself to be the individual, problem. But begin. And those who do not want to take this responsibility, for them the path of devotion is there. In the Lord, the whole creation, maintenance and destruction is taking place. In the waters, the creation, maintenance and destruction of all the waves is taking place. And the more you think of water, and eventually you become water, you merge into water. The wave merges into water. What is the merging of wave into water? What does it mean that the wave has merged into water? Two ways. One is the form has disappeared. The other is while the form is still there of the wave has lost its waveness and recognized that it is nothing but the water. See? This is what we have to do. Oh, I want freedom from miseries, so die. No. Recognize that you are the pure consciousness, the divinity incarnate. Everything in this creation is nothing but that divinity. And that vision can be presented to us only when we are single-pointedly focused on the divine principle. Let that be the self, let that be the Lord. Arjuna did. Arjuna made an attempt, and in that attempt he was understanding, but his experience was contrary to his understanding. So he said, oh Lord, how do I catch divinity in this world? My mind is getting distracted by all the names and forms. He says, okay. In the 10th chapter he says, see, among the trees I am the Ashwatha tree. Among the men I am Arjuna. Among all the rivers recognize me to be the Ganges. Among all the mountains in the world recognize me to be the Himalayas. Among the fruits recognize me to be the mango. And in this way he was going from one by one. He gave him quite a few examples. And then naturally the next question will come to what? And towards the end of the 10th chapter he says to Arjuna, if I can continue like this, he gave him 73 examples. He says, you can take many births and I will be there for every birth with you and I can keep continuing this conversation, but my specific manifestations in this world will never end. This is the phenomena. So naturally Arjuna said, oh, I don't want to live for so many lifetimes. Is there any way that I can have the entire experience in one go? Can I experience all your manifestations in one go? I don't want to waste my time for hours and years and lifetimes together to listen. I'm enjoying it. Yes, I'm enjoying it. But can I have it instantaneous experience of what you are saying in one go? He says, yes, it is possible. But you'll have to have a special vision for that. So he gives him the divine vision. And when he gives him the divine vision, Arjuna in the 11th chapter gets the cosmic experience. And he gets scared of the cosmic experience. And in that cosmic experience, he sees the construction, the birth, the maintenance and the death, construction, destruction, everything going on, and all the varieties, beautiful birth, ugly birth, destructive birth, of not only good, bad, everything. And he gets overwhelmed by the whole experience. He can't see from where is this whole cosmos beginning from, where is it ending, where is it abiding. He is just gets totally scared. And he says, oh Lord, 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 oh please, thank you for, I asked you, thank you for giving me this vision, but please, I want to see you back as I saw you before. This is too much for me. See? Because as you see the cosmic form, your mind is an individual mind right now. It has to expand in order to take in the cosmic form, isn't it? And that can happen only by grace. And then in 11th chapter the Lord says, you stupid fool, I showed you something that I have never shown to anyone. It's the most holiest of the holy. And you are afraid of that vision and asking to see again the human form with 4 hands. But because I love you, I will do it for you. But a word of caution. Let your eyes see the normal form of mine, but let your heart be committed to the cosmic form.
What was that again?
Let your eyes, your empirical experience be of the normal form of me, because we enjoy the form of Krishna or Rama or whatever. But in your heart, don't get focused on my limited form. In your heart, always keep that cosmic form available to you. Understand, everything is coming from that. This my individual form is also a part of that cosmic form. And how to do that? He gives him 1 or 2 examples. He says, just like a mother has, the cow has gone grazing, but continuously keeps thinking about the calf in the cow pen. Like a bird is flying in the sky looking for food, but its attention is always on the chicks in the nest. Like that. You move around in the world of the specific forms, but understand, this is everything is one whole, and your attention should be on the cosmic. Don't create boundaries. When your eyes see, they see boundaries. Louis has a form, sofa has a form, joy has a form, camera has a form, this body has a form. You cannot avoid it. If you try to see a total cosmos in this, you have to develop a different vision. But we see that this total physical universe is existing in the total space, which is without any boundaries. Keep your attention on that. Then unfoldment is possible. Otherwise, when our attention is on a specific form, eventually we get attached to a specific form, then we desire that specific form, then we have a like or dislike for that specific form, and then we become joyful or sorrowful because of that specific form, and we lose the plot. But while looking at all the specific forms, if our attention is on the cosmic, then what will be our disposition? Nothing is so important. Everything is coming and going. Because at that level, at the cosmic level, construction, maintenance and destruction is continuously going on, isn't it? Then you will not be, oh, why am I having this disease? Oh, why am I not remembering anything? Oh, I don't want to lose my dear ones. Oh, why did I have an accident? What karma did I do? Oh, why I have to sell my house because nothing you will see. You will see the whole drama is going on. Phenomena is going on. You cannot do anything. You become the witness. When your attention is on the total, you become the witness. This is the technique shown in the 11th chapter. And that witnessing then converts into, naturally, the 13th chapter onwards, the path of knowledge begins in Bhagavad Gita.
That was from the
Bhagavad Gita, yeah. 11th chapter. 11th chapter. So in this way, we have to, in the back of our mind, our disposition should be, I am the source, the whole world is my manifestation, nothing is outside of me, this is not my experience at the moment, because I want an objective experience of this. It will never be possible. To have an objective experience that this whole world is my vibhuti, the manifestation of the self, I can never have. Because we are so addicted to having an objective experience that we want this experience also to be an objective one. We want the experience of the self also to be an objective experience, and we go the wrong way then. How one's attention should be only on the pure consciousness is emphasized through an example. Now same point is coming again. Manavni Surya Surya Chiye Vadha Chandra Chandransi Sangada Na Deepa Chiya Padipada Aisa Deepa. Therefore the sun can be likened to sun alone, the moon to moon alone, and the lamp to lamp alone. Huh? Sun cannot be compared to anything else, the moon cannot be compared to anything else, the lamp cannot be compared to anything else. You cannot be compared to anyone in this creation because you are the most unique as you are. This particular moment cannot be compared to anything in the past or future because this is the most unique moment, isn't it? But where do we go wrong? We continuously comparing. We are not in the moment. It is all a waste of time to think about non-essentials. What is the essence on which the attention should be focused? Prakashato prakashaki yasina vache gheyi tsuki manoni jaga asaki vastu prabha. The illuminator, that is the self, is the illumined self. So illuminator and the illumined are both one and the same. The subject and object are actually one. Where is this difference between subject and object becoming pertinent, is becoming possible or is perceived? In the mind. But who is, do you know you are the observer? Yes. And where have you observed? Oh, I observed you there. No, you are not. I'm not observing you there. Really speaking, the observation is also taking inside only. See? So, subject and object, that one goes through dichomatization and becomes the I thought and the that thought. This I can only think of multiplicity. But when this I becomes available to its own essential nature, then he is free from the dichomatization. Then seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, all will go on. But there is no seer, no hearer, no breather, no thinker. There is only the eternal witness. This is only a language of expression. Huh? So there is no owner born. Everything is him alone. Owner, seer is born when he sees something separate to himself. But if seeing is taking place and seer is not born, what would be that experience like? Go home while driving, See, drive the car, but don't become the driver. What will happen? You'll get liberated very quickly. It is just these things you don't contemplate in the car. Okay? Go home, sit with this thought. All multiplicity will vanish. Yesterday, where in Panchadashi this thought. Panchadashi? That TV example. Gita it came. You know, in the old times we used to have the analog TVs. How it used to start when you press the button? Tick. First one dot used to appear in the center of the screen and suddenly all the pictures used to come. And then when you put the TV off, then what used to happen? All the picture used to go back into that one dot and then the dot will vanish. Isn't it? This is exactly what is happening to you every night and every morning. All the multiplicity is coming from that one dot, and that one dot is the self. And from that one dot, in that one dot, and that dot is not with a circumference, It has got no boundaries. In the TV it had boundary, yes. But this self, this dot of the self has got no boundary. Everything comes out of it and everything goes back to it. We are using this language because our attention is on waking, dream and deep sleep. But really speaking, there is nothing being born, nothing is created, nothing is maintained. This dot alone is. So, continuing, we conclude with this verse. The illuminator self is the illumined self, don't miss it. Admit your folly and accept that the entire world is the conscious self. And this recognition that the entire world is the conscious self cannot come about by you thinking about the world. Then where does this transformation of vision comes about? When you think about the self. Then this transformation will come about. The light is one and the same, whether expressing through the sun, the moon or the lamplight is light. Whatever be the source, in the same way when Sad Vastu starts manifesting and as Chit Vastu, its expansion is Ananta, unlimited. The total world is the glory of this one great truth. Meaning what? When the Sat Vastu starts manifesting, that one starts manifesting. Why are we using the word starts manifesting? There is only that one. It is infinite. All that there is that one. But our experience as an individual is different, isn't it? Our experience of this individual is different. Every morning the whole world manifests for me. Every night the whole world unmanifests for me. See? So therefore, when this Sat Vastu starts manifesting as Chit Vastu, so existence becomes conscious of its existence. What is deep sleep? When the consciousness has become, is not conscious of its existence. We go to sleep. What happens when we wake up in the morning? The consciousness that I am become conscious of my own existence. What is the first thought that you get? I am. You become consciousness. And from that moment onwards, the number of thoughts keep increasing. Your eyes are closed, you are in the bed, you don't even know if you are the body. But the first idea that comes into your mind is, I am awake, I am. That's it. In the same way, the total world is the glory of this one great truth. As the light is subtler than the sun, the moon, the lamp, etc., so also the subtle consciousness expressing as the world of names and forms, or the infinite number of experiencer trios, that means experiencer, experienced, and experiencing, these trios, all these unlimited expressions are from the one source, one vastu, and that one source is the self that I am. Without this self, no thoughts are possible, no emotions are possible, no breath is possible, no activity at the body level is possible, no world is possible. Because I am, therefore thinking is possible. And where has thinking come from? It is the expression of the self alone. The potentiality of the self has expressed as the thoughts. So here our thinking changes. Initially we say mind is a flow of thoughts. At this stage, when come to realize, we say consciousness with thoughts is mind. What is wave? Nothing but water. Then what is, if the thought wave, where is it expressing? In the mind. What is the mind essentially? Consciousness. A wave on consciousness is called a thought. So what is the material that has gone into making a thought? Consciousness. So before the wave there was water. During the expression of the wave there is water. After the wave vanishes there is still water. Before the thought appeared there was consciousness. During the expression of the thought there is consciousness. And after the thought vanishes there is only consciousness. The material out of which a wave is made is nothing but water. The material out of which the thought is made is nothing but pure consciousness. If we tell this in the beginning, it becomes very problematic. That's why it's coming so late in the basic preliminary texts like Vivek Chudamani, Atma Bodh, Tattva Bodh. This explanation is not given. And keeping our attention on that. Don't ask how, why, just compare. A water wave on the water is nothing but water. A thought wave is nothing but pure consciousness. Allow it to reveal itself. You cannot work it out. You cannot work it out. Keep your attention on the conscious being that you are. That vastu, that substance is the essence. Its many expressions are secondary. Instead of going straight to that one essential substance, vastu, why waste time in beating about the bush and get sidetracked into non-essentials? What are non-essentials? Waker, dreamer, deep sleeper is non-essential. Waking world, dream world, deep sleep world is non-essential. Thinking is non-essential. Emotions are non-essential. Breath is non-essential. Body is non-essential. Then what is most essential? Being the self is essential. The knower, the means of knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knowledge of that object are all illumined by that one pure self. To know that self, illuminating self, what is the need for any means of knowledge? And therefore I keep saying, many times you must have heard, the statement I think therefore I am is invalid. I am, therefore thinking happens. And I am in spite of thinking. Isn't it? I don't have to say I am to prove myself. Even if I don't think I am.
I am.
Yes. See, this is what it has come to now. So we don't need any second-hand means to be. What is that second-hand mean? Thinking is that second-hand way. It is not the direct. Thinking is the indirect way of coming to know yourself. But it will never be a complete knowing because thoughts are coming and going. So they can never give you the complete knowledge of the self. They may use the word self, but that self-thought also begins from somewhere, ends somewhere. But what it is indicating, that we have to catch. And when we catch that and be that, thinking will also stop. Therefore, whether it is drushya or drashta or darshana, in all three places, it is but one truth. Experiencer, experienced and experiencing, seer, seen and seeing, hearer, heard and hearing. Yes, it is a phenomena, but that phenomena cannot be outside the reality. See, when we begin the journey, we say, oh, you have to discriminate between the reality and the non-reality. Now what we are saying? What are we saying now? That unreality cannot be outside the reality. The reality is that one without a second principle, and that I am. And it is all inclusive. Nothing can exist outside of it independently.
That's just
And-
saying that right in the front of the very Bible. The world was made by me and nothing was made without me.
Me. So
Yes.
that is what we
It's
say,
just-
the
just what we-
material cause of the creation is divinity. The maker of this whole creation is also divinity. So divinity is the maker and divinity is the material out of which the whole creation is made. And that I am, not above the clouds, not that statue, not that picture of some god. No, that is the conscious principle. It requires courage to take that. That even all the forms of the gods, as I know them, as the mind knows them, are the creation of the self, are the manifestation of the self alone. Blasphemy!
You can imagine.
Burn him alive! And the consciousness is consciousness. Do not miss that. Hold on to this consciousness. Therefore, the conclusion is clear that the world is the manifestation of pure existence and not of ignorance. Hallelujah. Beautiful, no? Now, he is substantiating this conclusion by quoting various Upanishads. We'll see that in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Another 3-4 verses and this chapter is concluding. At last.
6 verses.
Not a fascinating one, but
Beautiful, done.
so we'll see each other again in